The same day repeated for 1,000 years. Yi Kongyun said, "Wu Chen, come on, I brought something for you." As they walk forward, Wu Chen said, "Professor, how did you bring the flowers from the island back?" Yi Kongyun said, "Before we left the island, Captain Ning had already sent people to collect some samples. Our country must conduct a certain amount of research on this flower before it's fully disclosed to the public." Wu Chen said, "Captain Ning, as expected, always thinking ahead." Yi Kongyun said, "According to current research, this pollen has a certain addictive quality, but when made into medicine, it has miraculous effects for pain relief, cough suppression, and stopping diarrhea. And it's also very effective for healing external wounds." Wu Chen said, "That's truly amazing. Professor, this research of yours is a major event that could change the global medical field. You could even say you're rendering a great service to the nation. Professor, you must take good care of yourself." Yi Kongyun said, "I know, so no matter what, I have to thank you." Wu Chen said, "Please focus on your research and don't be affected by public opinion from the outside world. Captain Ning and I will both find ways to help you." Yi Kongyun shakes Wu Chen's hand and said, "You take care of yourself too." A few moments later, outside, Wu Chen said to himself, "I can't stay here too long in case Zhou Muking's people spot me. That would complicate my work later on." As Wu Chen looks to the side, he sees his stolen bike as his phone rings. He took out his phone and saw Jin Yuzhen sent a message saying, "The car crash incident has left me unable to eat or sleep peacefully. I've booked a meal at this hotel and hope Mr. Wu will do me the honor of giving me a chance to apologize." Wu Chen said to himself, "So direct, fine, I'd like to see what you're planning." That night, at the hotel, Jin Yuzhen said, "Mr. Wu, it's so great that you could come." Wu Chen enters the room and Jin Yuzhen sat down saying, "I'm afraid this hotel's restaurant requires reservations a week in advance, so if you don't mind, can we order food and eat in the room?" As she hands over a menu, Wu Chen said, "Miss Jin, dressed like that to see me, I take it you weren't planning on us going downstairs to eat, were you? I'm not one for beating around the bush. What exactly do you want to say? Be direct." Jin Yuzhen fixes her hair and said, Such a direct man. I really like that. To be honest, I want to cooperate with you." Wu Chen said, "Cooperate? We've only met once. I don't even know who you are." "Cooperate on what?" Jin Yuzhen said, "My name? I told you during the rear-end collision. I'm of mixed Chinese-Korean heritage. I studied financial economics and financial analysis at Seoul National University. Currently, I'm doing accounting for Zhou Muqing's company. Before I met you, Zhou was the wealthiest man I could get close to." Wu Chen said, "So after meeting me, you think my background is stronger and my financial resources are more abundant, and you want to switch to a more impressive boss to do accounting for? There's always someone better out there. There are plenty of people more impressive and capable than me. So if you meet someone stronger next time, you'll just kick me to the curb too, huh? I'm not like Zhou Muqing to be used as your stepping stone." Jin Yuzhen said, "I only said one sentence, yet you seem to have seen my past, present, and future." As she pours green tea into Wu Chen's cup, Jin Yuzhen smiled and said, "Mr. Wu, while it's true one can't be too careful about guarding against others, you're clearly being a bit too defensive. The cooperation I'm talking about isn't about doing your accounting. It's about me replacing Zhou Muking's ecological niche in Y City." Wu Chen said, "Oh?" Jin Yuzhen said, "Since you want to cooperate, I'll be open and tell you my story. My father went to Korea to work. After his shifts, he'd eat beer and fried chicken at a food stall in an urban village, and that's where he met my mother, who was a waitress. You can imagine how much discrimination a child of that background faces growing up in Korea. I studied day and night and got into Seoul National University. After graduating and starting work, I only had two choices: be a low-level workhorse forever, or get promoted and a raise after being subjected to the unspoken rules by some disgusting, wrinkly old man. I kicked that old geezer in the crotch. He roared, swearing he'd make sure I could never make a living in Korea. So I resigned from my job in Korea and came to the Pearl River Delta in Waxia to seek opportunities." Wu Chen took a sip of the warm tea and said, "Then how did you end up in the northern Y City?" Jin Yuzhen said, "Fate, I guess. Anyway, by some coincidence, I met boss Zhou Muqing. I thought I had found where I belonged. But after a few times together, he became cold towards me. Turns out he was just using me. He just needed someone capable like me to loyally do his accounting, that's all. Darn it, that butt-face's kink is lawless. He's an out-and-out lolicon. No wonder he was always so unenthusiastic when he was with me." Wu Chen said to himself, "So that's how it is. She's at Zhou Muking's house, and every night she hears Zhou with other women doing things. Naturally, she got so depressed she could only rely on self-care for relief." Jin Yuzhen said, "Slowly, I came to understand a principle. When you're living under someone else's roof, you have to bow your head. Unless I build my own roof. Wu Chen said, what did you do? Jin Yuzhen said, I discovered that a lot of Zhou Muking's money flows in from overseas. Further investigation revealed that his business isn't actually doing that well, but funds are always coming in from overseas. He is very abnormal. So, Wu Chen, I want to replace him. Cooperate or not? Wu Chen said, a bit interesting. Your proposal isn't entirely out of the question, but how can I trust you? Jin Yuzhen said, trust, naturally, is mutual. Well, I've been very frank, you know. As for you, what do you plan to do? As she covers Wu Chen's eyes with her secret weapon. Wu Chen grabs the secret weapon and said, you've never had good meat before. Today, I'll treat you to something really good. As he pulled Jin Yuzhen closer to him, Jin Yuzhen said, is that so? Then I won't hold back. As she pushed Wu Chen down. Wu Chen suddenly pulls her hair back and said, sorry, I'm taking the lead in this partnership. Jin Yuzhen said to herself, heavens, so intense, so dominant, I love it. As she sweats and blushes, Wu Chen pulls her closer, and Jin Yuzhen feels something tiny poking her. As she sweats, Wu Chen said, this is just the beginning. As Jin Yuzhen trembles, Wu Chen suddenly carries her. As Jin Yuzhen continues to tremble and said to herself, this incredible position, it's letting me experience life's full bloom for the first time. Jin Yuzhen blushed and sweats, saying, Wu Chen, huff, I huff. Wu Chen said, don't talk, I was just giving you a taste of the appetizer. The main course hasn't even arrived yet. Jin Yuzhen said, what did you say? Wait, this is okay too? Wu Chen said, making a fuss over nothing. Jin Yuzhen said, no, I've never done this before. Wu Chen smiled and said, now for the main course. Jin Yuzhen's whole body trembles as she said to herself, my mind is completely blank. As she feels the smallest tunnel boring machine tunneling inside her and going shallower. As it breaks the first level, Jin Yuzhen said to herself, this man, he's so strong, I'm going crazy. Jin Yuzhen said, huff, Wu Chen, I can't take it anymore. Wu Chen said, what's wrong, Miss Jin? I haven't even really started yet. Silly girl, what a hard life you must have lived before. Tisk, tisk, tisk. As Wu Chen grabs Jin Yuzhen's soft shoulders, and Jin Yuzhen rests on Wu Chen. Wu Chen carries Jin Yuzhen and said, your pale, powerless, utterly boring nightlife, where you could only entertain yourself. As he puts Jin Yuzhen on the bed and said, starting today, it's completely over. Jin Yuzhen said to herself, it's hard to imagine that just by meeting the right person or doing the right thing, one could reap this level of pleasure. As a tidal wave of pleasure gushed. A few seconds later, Wu Chen said, so, would you say the first step of our collaboration was barely a success? Jin Yuzhen said, what do you mean barely a success? It was unbelievably good, okay? I've never felt anything like this in my entire life. Wu Chen said, then shouldn't you show some sincerity too? You must know more than what you've told me so far, right? Jin Yuzhen said, Zhou Muking treated me like a workhorse while he partied every night. My resentment towards him has reached its breaking point. But to succeed, one must plan carefully before acting. So, one day, after cooking the books, I went into the secret room to reconcile accounts with him. While he was looking at the ledger, I put a fake fish with a hidden camera in his fish tank to get more of his secrets. Later, I saw you sneak into Zhou Muking's house. I knew then that you weren't simple and that we shared a common goal. I figured we could help each other, so I secretly did a thorough investigation on you. Wu Chen said, I see. Tell me more about Zhou Muking. Regarding his overseas funds, how far have you gotten in your investigation? Jin Yuzhen said, he mainly relies on that overseas contact, codenamed I Zhao. The signature on all the letters is always E. The most recent transaction involved him having Zhou Muking orchestrate an online mob attack against a domestic research institution to halt its progress. Wu Chen said to himself, sure enough, it all lines up. Zhou Muking chose to target Professor Yi. As Wu Chen remembers something, Wu Xinglong said, here's a clue for you. If you really want to investigate, look into Zhou Muking in Y City. Wu Chen said to himself, what Wu Xinglong hinted at is finally coming to light. Wu Chen said, can you be more specific? Jin Yuzhen said, to stop the AI project's development, Zhou Muking caused a huge uproar online, but the commotion was so big it caused the national team to intervene, and I Zhao was almost exposed because of it. Therefore, he's quite dissatisfied with Zhou Muking, and I think this is my chance. Wu Chen said to himself, excellent, excellent. We might finally be able to catch this I Zhao fellow by the tail this time. Meanwhile, on the other side, Zhou Muking said, you cotton-headed ninny muggins, Jiang, Don't go stirring up trouble right now. I think someone's got their eyes on me. You better behave yourself. And another thing, if you get into trouble, don't you dare rat me out. I have nothing to do with you. Jung Kunji said, but, as he looks at his phone, Jo Muching said to himself, they're all useless. I have to find a way to get that Oliver and make her life a living heck. Jo Muching said to himself, Professor Yi and Wu Chen. Jin Yuzhen said, Wu Chen, I'm going to take a shower. You rest for a bit. As Wu Chen smiled, Wu Chen said, our in-depth collaboration has just begun. How can we stop halfway? Jin Yuzhen confusedly said, halfway? I thought it was all over. Wu Chen, you... Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.